Welcome to another ProFootballDoc Sports Injury Central podcast. SICScore.com here with the usual cast of characters. Post Week 7, pre-Week 8. I guess Monday Night Football still to go. Chicago and New England. But let's get to it. Jacob's here, Taylor's here, and Justin's always lurking in the background there somewhere. What do we got? Look, here's why we don't pre-script stuff on the pod. Jacob's in charge of it, and Taylor, he's going to jump in when he needs to jump in.
I'm not actually reading the script.
We can't script them anyways, so
yeah, we can't script.
It's a lost cause.
We actually think it's more organic this way, not to.
Absolutely.
And I don't mind thinking on my feet in terms of what's going on. So whatever's on your mind, Jacob, Taylor, let's go. Let's hit it.
Well, something I didn't have in the script, but is breaking right now. We just got a million tweet notifications. Matt Ryan is getting benched for Sam Ehlinger. Maybe it's a hiding behind health because now they're saying right shoulder separation, but Frank Reich is saying it's Ehlinger's job for the rest of the season. So grade 2 shoulder separation, is that a full season deal for 38-year-old quarterback? I don't know exactly how old he is, but.
Well, first of all, I'm going to ask you guys, did we see anything in the game? I mean, you had Indy, Tennessee on the TV right by you. You were monitoring that the closest. I know we were looking at Jonathan Taylor. I know we were looking at some few other things. I saw some Paris Campbell catches, some Pittman stuff.
He's 37, by the way.
Went off.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them run the ball with Jonathan Taylor 10 times and throw the ball with Matt Ryan 37 times. So 44 times. Sorry.
Yeah.
Was there any play?
I didn't see anything in the game.
Was there any change in what happened? Okay.
They're
Did he go into the blue tent?
Not that I saw. Not that we picked up on beats or anything.
Okay. So let's go over this. I mean, you guys are hitting me with this cold. So throwing shoulder, correct?
Correct.
And the head coach said grade 2 AC.
Grade 2 right shoulder separation.
Okay. A grade 2 right shoulder separation, an AC joint separation, separated shoulder, end of the collarbone as it goes into the acromion. A, acromion, C, clavicle, acromioclavicular joint, blah, blah, blah. We won't pull out prerequisite models. Nobody cares. Is usually from direct trauma. Into the ground or into another player, usually into the ground. Instead of breaking your collarbone, the end of your collarbone pops up as your shoulder is jammed in. Happens all the time. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know how many different examples, but you can give it a lot. What we talk about is injection and play through. That's what I asked about in terms of, did he leave? Did he go into the blue tent? Did he do anything?
He was sacked 3 times. I didn't see those specific 3 sacks, but we can go look back at that.
We can go look back at it, but so it hurts immediately. My guess is if you can play through, you could play next week. You won't practice all week. Game day injection. I've done it before on throwing quarterbacks. Let's give some history here on AC joints. And then you guys decide, and listeners, how much is hiding behind health or reality. John Elway had a grade 3 AC separation, chronic in his throwing shoulder throughout his career. Didn't bother the Hall of Famer. But that's a chronic. Acute, talked about it. You can play through. We talked about it in other positions. You can even play quarterback. Another very famous example of an AC joint separation. You know where I'm going to go with this? Jimmy G in New England.
Oh, yes.
Here you go.
All the offseason for Martellus Bennett, Julian Edelman criticism. Remember, Edelman got it wrong because his non-throwing shoulder. No, it was his throwing shoulder. Sure, Jimmy didn't play, but Jimmy there is a young quarterback who wasn't going to practice. Could he have taken injection and played? Yes, but how would he have played? Would he have hurt his status? You can play through. Now, Ehlinger's the starter for the rest of the season. Is that what was said?
That's what was said by Frank Reich. Yep.
They also have Nick Foles. I don't know why they're skipping
don't-
straight to Ellinger.
Well, because Nick Foles, they know what they have. I think Ellinger's young, so they're going to see what they have. But yeah, it's an interesting move to rule him out.
They're 3-3-1, one game out of the division. So
an AC joint separation on a throwing shoulder, not injected, can return to play in 4, maybe 6 weeks, uninjected on a throwing shoulder. So he's saying season. There's a lot more to it here.
I'll give you 2 stats on Matt Ryan. 9 interceptions, leads the league. 11 fumbles, only 3 lost, which is kind of incredible, but that leads all quarterbacks for fumbles.
So this has to be a hiding behind health.
Hiding behind age, maybe.
Well, that's health too.
Yeah.
But my point
Deteriorating
is if he said he's got an AC joint, we think Sam gives us a better chance to win. Okay. But he's saying Sam's our starter and he's out for the season.
They said regardless of the Matt Ryan injury, this was the move. They said they've been thinking about this move before.
So they are admitting they're hiding behind health by throwing the health
out. It's more
out there.
blatant hide behind health. Yes. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, no question. But that's what I'm saying. The AC joint, you could play. Look, if this is, gosh, I don't even want to say Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers because they both got beat this week. I mean, this is how upside down this year is. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, both heavily favored, well, significantly favored, one more heavily than the other, both lost this weekend to XFL quarterbacks. PJ Walker, Carolina, beat Tom Brady and the Bucks soundly, and Aaron Rodgers was beaten by Taylor Heineke, who was an XFL backup. I mean, this is crazy. Now you have Sam Ellinger. I don't even know what round he was drafted in. And
6th rounder. No NFL touchdowns.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
6th round.
Yeah, there you go.
Was he pick 199? No.
I do not know that. Yeah.
What? There's something you don't know? Come on. Yeah, clearly hiding behind health. So basically what they're saying is Matt Ryan hasn't done it for us. This is coming anyways. Here's the excuse. Not to keep harping on it. Remember the Jared Goff hiding behind health,
John
this
Wolford.
thumb,
Yep.
John Wolford. Hey, we want to see what John Wolford can do with a full week of practice. And that's why Jared Goff didn't start in that playoff game. Now he had to come in because of the concussion, and that was the harbinger for the trade. Jimmy G, right? I mean, pre-Trey Lance, hiding behind health on the high ankle. We talked about hiding behind health here. Baker Mayfield played 2.5 quarters. He could have played, but
and now
they wanted to give PJ Walker a chance.
And now after the win against over the Bucks, Steve Wilkes is saying PJ Walker's earned the right to start no matter who's healthy next week, basically.
It's game by game, right?
Well, and that changes too, right? I mean, what they say one week is not the next, but that's hiding behind health. No accusation to any teams or coaches. I mean, look, you want to get to Russell Wilson?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Reportedly, Nathaniel Hackett's choice to hold him out. Russell Wilson wanted to play. You know, he's got Wolverine blood. He heals fast with the hamstring.
What do you think about Wolverine blood, Doc? Does it work?
Is that
Regular Wolverine blood or PRP?
PRP. Which one is it? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, do I think Russell Wilson could have played this week? 100%. Do I think Russell Wilson had a hamstring injury? Yes, and you went over it. What about 2:40 left in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, they said it changed the play calling down the stretch and in overtime.
Left hamstring is what you found,
right,
and that we looked at on video. But he finished the game. Now, if you want to say we're choosing to start a healthy Brett Rypien over a relatively immobile Russell Wilson, I'd buy that. But to say that Russell Wilson can't play and is inactive and he finished the game. Same with Baker Mayfield. I argue Daniel Jones in London, a game that he won
with his legs,
with some running. He wasn't running a lot with the right high ankle sprain, I believe it was. Was it right or left on him? Right. Okay. Limping was healthier than Baker Mayfield. Sorry, Baker Mayfield was healthier than Daniel Jones.
Right.
And Baker Mayfield's been sitting. I would argue that Russell Wilson is healthier than Daniel Jones.
Okay.
But there was no Tyrod Taylor, and it was down to Davis Webb, and Brian Daboll wanted him, and he's been doing well, and they're winning, and they kept it going, and they did get a win there, and they've been doing well. That's where I talk about hiding behind health. I'm not saying Russell Wilson or the Broncos are lying about his injury. Just the severity and this, that, the other. Same with the Colts here. It's, for lack of a better word, it's insider knowledge or reading between the lines. And we just call it hiding behind health or injuries, whatever you want to say. And to finish up on our guy, Russell Wilson, what are the chances that a quarterback, look, I say this all the time, healing from an injury, it's not linear, it's not binary, it's not like it's 13 days you can't and 14 days you can do it all. If the hamstring was bad enough that he could not play this week, what are the chances he's 100% this week? 0.
Nothing changes.
0.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, can he get healthier in a week? Absolutely. Can he get to full health if he wasn't healthy? Not a chance. Healing doesn't happen that way. Now, will Russell Wilson play? I don't know.
Does going to London affect the recovery process at all?
The British Air is heavier or something.
No, I'm just traveling, moving around. I don't know.
You guys are too young for this, and you guys have been with us.
It's a long flight. Maybe you don't want to sit still that long.
No. I remember, I believe it was Tony Romo, way back when he was still playing, and he had maybe some transverse process fractures. You're going to Google it and tell me I'm right or wrong. And people were saying, well, but it's London. The flight's uncomfortable. I'm like, relax. I've been to London one time with an NFL team. It was on a 747, and even I had my own row. Okay. I mean, Tony Romo can't lay on his couch for 7 hours. I mean,
yeah. You have back issues too. So
I know, but my point is, I was like, please. I mean, the flight is nothing nowadays.
Okay.
It's sitting on your couch. Okay. It's not, I mean, he's going to have whatever.
Yeah. Maybe that's the mistake, because we're picturing as a commercial flight, not a team charter
it's not a middle seat on Southwest.
Cater to all these.
They fly over on a 747. Okay. I mean, and really the flight from New York, just as an example, to London is not that much further than New York to San Diego or San Francisco, or I think it's you can Google and look it up. Seattle to Miami is just as far as New York or New England to London, I think.
So I found so a former NFL trainer at the time told Florio, Mike Ryan, former NFL trainer, he said sitting for that long period of time is a bad situation for him.
No question.
Yep.
Do you think they're enforcing the seatbelt light is turned on and you have to sit
around,
down, sir?
Yeah.
I mean, no question.
Yeah.
Look,
sit down, Mr. Romo. Yeah.
I mean, I was single at the time for most of it. My time in the NFL. I was married towards the end, but I heard this afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
My seat was always towards the back of the plane. Okay, back of the bus, and I spent a lot of my time standing in the back almost the entire flight. And that's where I told you some of the conversation with Coach Rivera when he'd come by, or other people, and because he would do laps.
Right.
And when I finally finished the NFL and everyone finally knew I had a bad back, and then one year I had 8 epidurals during the season.
Oh, geez.
I was standing up because my back hurt to sit. So I respect the heck out of Mike Ryan. And by the way, why Sunday Night Football medical coverage is so good is because of Mike Ryan.
Absolutely.
He's there on the sidelines. He's feeding Michelle Tafoya.
He calls for the camera angles
and the producers. He's picking out, this is the good replay. I mean, he does a great job. Was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago when someone said, you need a medical person to do that? And people were like, oh, it's you're lobbying. And I said it was a good idea. No, Mike Ryan's probably a very good person to do that.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And he can talk like the referees and so forth. We'll see if opportunity ever comes or not. If it involves leaving San Diego, I won't do it, I don't think, but whatever. Mike Ryan's great.
Mm-hmm.
What he said is absolutely correct. Sitting for 7 straight hours is not good for your back. you're not sitting for 7 straight hours on this flight.
Right.
You literally could have therapy during the flight. You literally could. I mean,
He said the Cowboys will probably find a solution at the time when he said,
Okay,
yeah.
Look, and getting back to the point is, I stood in the back because of my back. And
Right.
some players subsequently told me, we just thought you were hitting on the flight attendants. I'm like, I won't say the second part, but no, I wasn't.
I wonder
I'll
why
just
you
leave it at
prefaced that you were married first. I was like, what does that have to do with this story?
No,
Yeah.
I was standing because my back hurt,
right.
and I didn't want to stand in the aisle, so I
Yep.
stood in the galley in the back, and
For sure.
and then honestly, players would come by and we'd just sort of chit chat, different people would come by, but I'd be standing in the back a bunch. So, and that's on a 737.
Right.
This is a 740. Anyways,
Yeah.
we're talking that to death here. Russell Wilson, I don't believe, will play this week. Whatever caused the decision to make him sit out this week isn't going to materially change. In other words, if it's Russell Wilson who said, hey, I don't think I can go, but he's putting up public appearances that he wants to go, the coach is doing the right thing and covering for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Russell Wilson honestly said, I can go, I'll do anything, coach, I'm ready to go, and Hackett's the one saying, I know you want to, but let's go the other way, is it really going to change in 1 week?
Right.
I mean, I don't think it is. I mean, we talked about this casually, and I wish no ill will. I don't know Nathaniel Hackett personally at all. And I know he's obviously on the hot seat since Matt Rule's let go. He's the next guy. But I remember the one time we went to London, we played the New Orleans Saints, and our defense did not play that well. And on the way back, we fired our defensive coordinator. Why does that happen? Because the next week's the bye week. If you're going to make a change,
install it on the bye. Yeah,
this is the time to make the change.
Do you leave him in London, or how does that work? That's a crazy. I always think about that. How they I would like to stay in London.
That's an awkward flight back. Yeah.
Honestly,
drink DeSaro's away at the pub.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in the back of the bus.
Okay.
I was in front of the sponsors on the 747.
Right.
And actually, that was the one flight they allowed spouses to fly back with you.
Oh, okay.
Because they did fly out some spouses at the time. For me, it was a fiance. It wasn't a spouse, but they gave you a choice. And the choice was, you can fly back first class solo, or you can fly back coach with your spouse.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was their choice. I mean,
Right.
that's how many first class seats there are on this plane.
Right.
You could have all flown first class. So you can ride in the back. It's hard in the back of the bus. So I don't know that I saw the defensive coordinator because of where I was
You
sitting.
didn't know if he was there or not.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they passed out a memo. We just fired the defensive coordinator. So, I mean, I don't know if he was left behind or he came back or what the deal was.
For sure.
But like I said, it's a 747. But my point is, this is just wild speculation. It's just based on hamstring's not there, right? And if the hamstring isn't there, let's say the hamstring's a lot better for Russell Wilson in this next week. Let's say it is. Is it 100%? No. You still risk re-injury.
Right.
Unless you just say, Brett Ripien is just absolutely horrific and I'm coaching for my job, and Russell, you have to go.
I don't think he was horrific, but I think it was enough, like you said, to let's play him again. I don't think he's good, but I mean, it's 225 yards. Russell Wilson has only done that 3 out of 6 games this year.
They threw him 46 times. I don't know how fair that is to Ripien.
And
also a week of practice.
How fair is one game? I mean, PJ Walker was horrific against the Rams, and now he beat Tom Brady.
He had all that XFL experience, though. Remember? Yeah. No, you're right. Though one game, yeah.
But my point is, I mean, if there's prop odds on this or parlay odds on this, I'd take Ripien playing last week to Ripien playing this week in London to Nathaniel Hackett getting fired before the next game.
That's like a bingo card parlay. Yeah.
I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah.
And then Russell Wilson
you just read
getting what he wants
and
coming back. But that's the game, the way it's played, and the hiding behind health and the different things. And we can go through more and more different examples of it. Health, the way it's treated in the NFL, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get to it when we talk about Chiefs versus the 49ers. But there's different it's not black and white. It's an art. And playing versus not playing, it's a fine line. So, anyways, next topic, and we'll.
Well, just two real quick. We had the quarterback carousel video last week. Anyone who missed that, you can check that out on our YouTube channel. But two big situations this week. Maybe not big situations, but Andy Dalton on Thursday night, not the best showing. Jameis Winston, speaking of transverse process fractures, be interesting to see where he's at with his knee recovery, ankle, and then the back.
Jameis Winston has been ready to play. He was ready to play on Thursday. So our quarterback carousel last week has said, I think Dennis Allen wants Dalton to play. He just wants to make sure Dalton can. He played. What's his decision this week? I don't know. But Jameis Winston's fully available.
Throwing 2 pick sixes in a minute 4, shouldn't that be getting you benched? He did have a good showing after. I know he's a veteran quarterback, but I mean,
then it doesn't look good because then you said Jameis Winston's not 100%, so you can't just insert him in the middle of the game.
Well, I remember back in the day, Matt Schaub, he threw a pick 6 for 7 straight games, and then he had to go to a sports psychologist after, and he never played again. He was just a backup.
Okay,
Like,
well, I don't know about that, but I was there
hurts.
in the Seattle Superdome.
Okay.
The old Seattle Dome.
Right.
And you can, once again, Google it and look it up and prove me right or wrong. Well, we had Ryan Leaf, and he threw, I don't know that it was a pick 6, it was just a bad interception, and it wasn't his first one.
Right.
And then we brought in Craig Wheelahan, and his first pass, our backup, threw a bad interception. And then we brought in Ryan Leaf again, and he threw a bad pick, and we went back to Craig Wheelahan. I mean, it was the craziest thing ever as we sat on that AstroTurf.
Yeah.
Terrible field.
And Jameis Winston is the one you put in to be the safe game manager choice. So you thought that was Dalton.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
Look, so that's Dalton, the quarterback carousel. The other one that was obvious was Tua, and obviously Tua played and did well. Kenny Pickett, once again, not saying that there's anything nefarious or wrong with it, but only one in the league this year that went from a Sunday concussion to FP Wednesday, FP Thursday, cleared for the game before practice on Friday morning, FP again. Thankfully, he did well, no issues, no problems. But, and then Steelers fans are all saying, well, he didn't actually have a concussion. Well, according to your head of PR on game day, he did. And according to Mike Tomlin on Tuesday, he did. Maybe later on they found out he didn't, and it was precautionary, but they never said it publicly.
That just goes to something I know you've been preaching a while on this podcast, Doc, is just why can't someone clear that up? I mean, we deal with injuries, and me and Taylor are looking at each other like, I don't know, did they say he had a concussion? I mean, we have to do a deep dive on Twitter just to find out versus Dr. Sills coming out and saying,
I vote for transparency there. I think it would help everybody. Look, to this minute, it's still unclear whether Tua had 1 or 2 concussions. Sunday Night Football
it shouldn't be unclear now
about it a little bit.
Or Bridgewater too. The week after, they just said it was a symptom of it, so we took him out. But no one never followed through on did he have a concussion?
Well, how about
I'm not saying it.
Hufanga, Talanoa Hufanga.
That was the first time ever. That was good. I'm learning.
Yeah, you got me saying the wrong.
I know. That's why I gotta
Hufanga.
we're recording here.
Everyone knows who you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, I respect the 49ers doctors. I don't know who their UNC is. I know the UNC in Pittsburgh. No symptoms, checked for a concussion the previous Sunday, passed 2 concussion tests, returned to the game, had headaches on Monday, but cleared for Sunday. That's an unheard of precedent too, certainly for.
And there wasn't really public reporting about him being cleared on Saturday. It was just we saw him warning him up for Sunday, and is like, is he cleared?
Apparently so.
Apparently so, because he played.
And then he took a hit. We can go to the video if you want.
Right.
And they said shoulder after, which I am.
Took a knee to the side of the head. I don't know how much shoulder involvement was there, but
the pain goes down.
Stinger.
Cleared to return again. I mean, look, we're shrugging, we're rolling our eyes here, but wouldn't it help the NFL just explained it?
Yeah.
So this is what it was.
He passed or he didn't pass. It's
or what it really was and what the situation was. And even if a player says you're not allowed to because of HIPAA,
right,
then say, look, we would explain it, but this player did not allow because of HIPAA. We can't talk about it.
Said there's all this confusion and secrecy behind it, and it seems nefarious by stoking the confusion, having just the layman.
I'm gonna say something else here. And I honestly respect Dr. Sills. I think he's done a very nice job in a very difficult situation.
Difficult, exactly, yeah.
After the Tua thing, he said, can't talk about the details of Tua because of HIPAA. Okay, got it. And then he was asked a follow-up question later. Was Tua examined between Sunday and Thursday, that game? Yes, he was examined every day.
Violated it.
I mean,
Yep.
I'm glad he said it, but it's just like,
But,
I mean, look,
you're picking and choosing what you want to.
I don't know if you guys have noticed this. When you are in a doctor's office, no one can say, Mr. Cisneros or Jacob Cisneros. They come out and say Jacob.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
If I'm calling Taylor for lab test results and it's his voicemail, I can't say, this is Dr. So-and-so, this is your x-ray or MRI or lab test results, and leave a voicemail.
Right.
Unless it says, this is my private, secured, and confidential information.
This is my personal cell phone.
Then you can do it. If it's
Okay.
just a voicemail, you can't, right?
Right.
I mean, anyways, we don't need to get off track there. So
I had another concussion. Amon St. Brown left with a concussion. I'm already reading that he's trending in the right direction. So it's like, this is Monday, right?
now remember in Pittsburgh, for the conspiracy theorists,
Yes.
Tomlin saying Pickett's our starter if he clears. We're hopeful, whatever. Anyways, the quarterback carousel. So Pickett, Tua, Dalton, Baker Mayfield / PJ Walker. We know the high ankle.
Yeah. Almost hit the parlay.
Almost. what was the other? There was a handful. There were 7 last week.
Carson Wentz was one of them.
Carson Wentz, yeah, that got
Right,
settled
yeah,
early.
yeah.
Taylor Heineke, we knew that one. And we're still missing 2 others. Mac Jones.
Yep.
Mac Jones. It was still
Get
Bailey
to see
Zappi.
tonight.
That's going to be
tonight,
settled today, yeah.
Yep.
Or Monday when we
people
record,
like, what do you think? Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi? It's a coaching decision.
Mhm.
This is a week where Mac Jones can play at 100%, maybe not, at 85.
I think he said on
90?
last week's podcast, he said he was 85, 90%, which means he's 70%.
Yeah, well, this week he probably is 85, 90.
Yeah.
So it's a coaching decision, Zappi or Mac Jones.
Right.
He's not mobile, so it's not going to affect him as much as it would a mobile quarterback.
Shouldn't, but I mean, it's a coaching decision.
Right.
That's what it is. Who's going to start today? I don't know. Ask Coach Belichick. It's a coaching decision. They're both going to be available this week. And what was the final one? It was one other, because I think that's 6.
Dak.
Oh, no, it was Russell Wilson.
Right.
Yeah, we already covered that. Russell
Mhm.
Wilson was the other one, where, it was a coaching decision / injury decision.
Right.
Anyways.
Well, let's get to some coach speak, and then we'll talk about the key injuries affecting week 8 and beyond. First one is our favorite, John Harbaugh, on J.K. Dobbins, who's undergoing a knee scope, reportedly out 4 to 6 weeks. I think we wrote something that said that's rather optimistic given the history of what his knee recovery has been. But Harbaugh said it was Dobbins' decision to get the knee scope because there's scar tissue limiting his range of motion, and it wasn't a new injury.
Okay. Let's break down the last part first. Wasn't a new injury. Okay. Technically true. He didn't twist his knee, get it tackled funny, misstep, new injury. But certainly scar tissue is a new issue that hasn't been talked about.
Right.
And it's related to the original injury.
Right.
I mean, scar tissue from what? From a multi-ligament knee dislocation type injury, not straightforward ACL. And
he had the knee tighten up, and that's why he didn't play in the second half. And
look,
lingering soreness.
I'll
all that
say
deal.
it again. J.K. Dobbins has done an incredible job coming back from a very difficult injury.
He had a 2-touchdown game. Like he's
even
productive.
ahead
Mhm.
of what
We thought.
I would have thought. But the reason we were so pessimistic on him from the preseason and a bad and low season-long 6 score, and we're on our sick picks, he said, pound the under 875 yards for the season.
Yep.
And he's not going to hit that, is because it was a really bad knee injury, not
Right.
because we doubted him and didn't like him. If anything, he's done a very good job. But this scar tissue sequela is part of the deal of what it is.
I had that right quick about the Amon St. Brown new stuff came out. So apparently he was pulled from yesterday's game by officials, did not suffer concussion. He remains in concussion protocol. He passed concussion tests on the field, but could not return because of instability he showed on the field. So that's why he's trending in the right direction.
So they're going to say this is part of the new rule,
Mhm.
which I don't think was that big of a change to begin
Just,
with.
yeah. But
Just because you passed the concussion protocol doesn't mean you didn't suffer a concussion.
That's why you're in the protocol that
audio
extends for multiple
visual
days.
signs. So
didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, what we got to update our stats, Jacob. But coming into last week, 39 concussions, 6 returned to play the same week.
About 15%.
The next week. Now, if more people are being held out, a la Teddy Bridgewater, Amon St. Rob Brown, precautionary reasons, that 6 for 39 may go up.
Right.
It just sounds like a workaround to me. That sounds like a loophole. Like I feel like you said, it should be very direct. If you have a concussion, just rule them out for a week. You know what I mean? Just straightforward stuff. But it's not always cut and dry like that, right?
Rule them out for the next game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just make it very simple. Don't even, no discussion points throughout the week. I don't know.
Well, then your question then is, was there a concussion or not? And,
exactly.
Then you have to have someone to clear it up besides the PR department or whatever.
Yeah, and look, let's say you played on Thursday and your next game's on Sunday. Do you play or no?
Yeah, because now it's like you got to do days, not the game.
That's a question,
right? That's why it's tough.
It's a question.
No, it's 100% true. Yeah,
right.
I mean, do you say, "Oh, you're lucky you play on Thursday, you can play," or where's the competitive advantage scheme and different? I don't know. I'm just saying it's not clean and straightforward.
Not at all. Yeah.
Last coach we want to get to is the James Robinson, Travis Etienne situation. Etienne went off this week, 114 yards on 14 carries, touchdown, fumble loss, 5 targets.
Last couple weeks, he's been the man.
Yeah, he's been the man.
Yeah.
So Doug Peterson, they asked him after because James Robinson didn't get any carries or targets. He said they have to evaluate James Robinson, see where he's at physically. Obviously, coming off the Achilles tear last year, they want to make sure he's 100%. But Travis Etienne's kind of taken over. And then this morning, they're saying Robinson had knee soreness, and that's kind of why they didn't test him. Wasn't on the injury report at all leading up to week 7.
Well, it's significant. It's supposed to be on the injury report, but we've seen that before, so they're not going to get fined.
Possible that the knee soreness was something that he mentioned before the game Sunday, but
I guess it's possible you can thread the needle. But for those saying, well, this is Achilles, remember what he did the first few weeks of the season?
He looked good.
He looked good, and he did well. And this hiding behind health thing, I respect Coach Peterson. I think he's a good coach. All coaches do it to some extent, right? I mean, we've talked about it.
I mean, Etienne's running for over 7 yards a carry last 3 games. Like
he's been explosive,
last 2. So it's like it's a certain point.
Well,
but
he was the Liz Frank, so it took him a little. I mean, maybe it was a little bit of both.
The podcast what you had with Walt Lowe, that was the first thing we compared the two. They said Robinson might start off whatever, but you said it takes a while to get the explosive back from Liz Frank.
Yeah, so. I mean that's where we utilize the panel of docs and so forth.
Right.
No, there's no question. There's some coach speak / hiding behind health there.
Well, let's clear up the San Francisco game. Let's break that down real quick, and then we'll get into the week 8 injuries. But what's the difference between playing and playing healthy and effective? I think that's a lot of what we do and a lot of what we try to break down on the website.
Well, according to our algorithm and analysis and by health, we loved Kansas City this week over San Francisco.
It was our earliest pick we put into our stuff. Yeah.
And the reason why is they had 3 starters out defensively. They got 3 more injured the previous week. And that's why we liked Atlanta. And Atlanta won by 14 when they were 4 or 6, I don't remember, underdogs at home. And we said, they're going to get worse. Now, admittedly,
didn't see Hufanga coming back.
I didn't see him coming back, but we didn't even find out about that one until Monday.
Right.
This is on Sunday after the game. We said he's going to get worse. Javarius Ward with his groin, very hard to play through. Jimmy Ward, we thought it was weird that he didn't play through with the hand, so we figured it'd be another week. And Nick Bosa with a groin, there's no such thing as a 1-week groin. Either you could have played through the previous week or you're not playing through the next week. And he was all of a sudden coming back. And Trent Williams was coming back, right? And we thought McGinchey wasn't going to play right tackle because of his calf and quad. And he all of a sudden was going to play. And our room here was like, are we so sure about our algorithm here? And I said, look, this is what separates us. We do things differently. pretty much every, besides we're the only one with former head team positions, blah, 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 panel, blah, blah, blah. We rely on injury analysis, not injury reporting. So when they say Trent Williams is going to come back, that's reporting. We say at what percent.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at Twitter video you put up, I mean, that safety was Frank Clark beating Trent Williams.
He walked around him
pretty badly.
Yeah.
And what you see there is with his right high ankle, inside ankle for Trent Williams, he couldn't plant and kick out and get there. Instead of he, tap, pussyfooted around, and Frank Clark beat him, and Jimmy G didn't have a chance, and it was a safety.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that Trent Williams is a bad player. It's the opposite. I'm saying he wasn't 100%.
Right, yeah.
Nick Bosa did okay, but he wasn't Nick Bosa.
He had a sack, but I think just to that, he's super talented. I think a 75% Bosa's.
And I remember one time where they just ran around him by misdirection, where they didn't even block him. He couldn't change directions.
And they know that, yeah.
And what about the night that Juju Smith-Schuster had?
Yeah.
And
Jarvis Ward,
yes.
Yeah.
With the groin, we said that's very difficult to play through. So what I think happened is the 49ers were like, they did not forget Miami. I mean, Miami Super Bowl, not Miami Dolphins.
Right.
They were leading by double digits at the start of the fourth quarter, and they lost to these Kansas City Chiefs by double digits by the end of the fourth quarter. And this is the first time they're playing them again. So they were saying, Nick, you're borderline. I get you could go just like Micah Parsons went for Dallas, but let's wait. Jimmy, you're close. Okay, let's wait. Ward, I know you got a groin. We need you. Trent, let's target this game.
Right.
McGlinchey, you're not 100%, but let's go.
CMC play maybe when you're not fully ready.
Yeah, well, he's ready. He just may not have the whole playbook.
Package,
but my point is they were pushing their chips all in. But that's why, and here's my thing to you all. If you're watching or listening, go to SICScore.com, SICScore.com, click on the SICScore tab and go to players. And if you were to just sort it out and say, it's still up there, wide receivers, you can sort by DFS projection cost, by fantasy projections, you can sort by position, you can sort by health, you can sort by health of the defense. But if you just go to the wide receiver tab, you'll see all the wide receivers. And if you look down the column where it says opposing side, in other words, for wide receivers, the pass defense, the first red you'll see is for Juju Smith-Schuster. Red. Bad pass defense because of health.
I think they're in the high 60s, which is about the lowest we've had of any team this year.
And then if you scroll down some more, the next one is
pass defense. It was 58.
58. Yeah. Gotcha.
Amari Cooper, not healthy against a Ravens pass defense that was injured. And he had a big day.
Right.
The next one down was MVS. Okay, same Chiefs and whatever. But we show you on Twitter the video of Travarius Ward not able to flip his hips and go on a go route from Juju and got burned by quite a bit and for a lot of yards. So playing does not equal healthy. That's all. And for fantasy, if you're trying to decide, be it DFS or fantasy, between two people, it would behoove you to go to the site to check on the health of the defense they're playing against. And if it's a running back, it's listed against the health of the run defense specifically, or the pass defense specifically. So if you're trying to decide, why not make that your final arbiter? I mean, I'm not saying use it like for every little thing, but fit it into what you're doing in terms of what's going on. And maybe that'll be your tiebreaker.
Like Scantling was super cheap. And like get him as a little flex guy and have 111 yards. That's, like you said, you wouldn't have got that unless you use stuff like our.
Well, it's just an easy way to look at it and see.
Yeah.
And so, that was one of our strongest calls of the week, right? To take Kansas City because of San Francisco, and because of the O-line and defensive problems. The Jets, you could say, was easy. We kind of. They had some issues, the Broncos, and then obviously with
you're betting on Brett Ripien. Yeah.
That was easy. But we rang the bell against Baltimore again in terms of against the spread. Baltimore won. I mean, we've been betting against Baltimore a lot this whole season.
Right.
Because like every week they pick up a new one. Every week our scores are fluid, so they get better. People will get, if you have a hamstring, we'll up your score eventually, but they're getting a new injury.
And teaser, go to the website.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night, Baltimore Bucks. We might break stride.
Yeah.
We might break stride.
Slow delta there. Yep. Yes.
Let's talk through the process on 3 big injuries this week. Breece Hall, torn ACL, confirmed upon MRI. The video was not very conclusive. Is not great angles. He was in the middle of a pile. What did we see on that one, Doc?
Guilty. It's my fault. Guilty. Hard to teach a new dog, an old dog, new tricks. Breece Hall. Look, I'm still new to fantasy and whatever. Breece Hall, I should have known. Breece Hall, he's the starlet of the season, and I should have paid more attention. We had multiple games going on. You guys showed me the video, and I don't see a lot here. And then he was limping a little bit. I looked again. I don't see a lot. You guys showed some video. It was ruled out. I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. I should have gone back. And this is nothing to do with, I'm not shy. It's nothing to do with Zach Wilson and the Jets or whatever. I just didn't see a whole lot. And I did a halftime injury chat and said, tag and send me some video if you see something. And people, look, his hyperextended knee, and it was his right knee. I went back and looked at it this morning. It's his left knee. And the only time you see it is on the sideline view, not the close-up. Mm-hmm. All the close-ups are after he already tore his ACL and he's falling into the pile.
Because they're focused on the contact.
It happened non-contact on the cut. Mm-hmm. And I should have known better. Guilty, my bad. Did not see it in real time. If I would have seen longer video, I should have asked for longer video.
Right.
I'm like, we don't see it. I just, he's in a pile, and it wasn't a good view. So I assumed it happened in the pile. I shouldn't have done that. It happened in the open field. Mm-hmm. Left knee ACL tear. Not in the pile, not hyperextension, not this, that, the other. I mean, in some ways, it's not a miss because we didn't make a wrong call, but I personally take it as a miss. I could have seen that. But, maybe that's in a one-off game. Who knows? But did not see that.
That's going to be a struggle. They have the hardest schedule going into the rest of the year. So,
yeah, with Michael Carter, and we'll see maybe Cam Akers. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting. But the best thing about the Jets is they've got their tackle situation straightened out.
Remmers has been up. He's been filling a little bit on the run side. Yeah.
And Dwayne Brown. I mean, they've filled some big holes there.
That's why we were so excited when I knew he was going to be a good stopgap. I know you didn't like his age. You can't just come off the street and be good, but
they can do it for a little. I mean,
Jason Peters a little bit for the Cowboys. Remember last year? Yeah. I mean, this year he couldn't, right? He was already hurt already. But.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does Zach Wilson always do that crazy stuff?
Yes, he's like a little Johnny Manziel type. Yeah.
Holy smokes! I mean, I looked up and there was spin move, same spin move escape, and then some.
And then he flicks it. He flicks it like Mahomes. Like he's like, "Something be there." I'm like, "No one's there."
I mean, he throws. I mean,
there's one he ran all the way across and tried to throw across his body all the way to the other side of the field.
He had some crazy stuff. Maybe we got to watch more Jets. And I mean, it's hard to scan in all the games.
Oh, for sure.
Look, when this becomes a full-time job, we'll see. I'd love to look at the 60-minute, no commercial game, old school,
absolutely, yeah.
NFL.com game rewind and actually look at all the games, all the way through.
We'll get there. Another big fantasy star, maybe we can shed some light on. Didn't see a lot in game, but DK Metcalf, they're reporting this morning that he hurt his patellar tendon, but not expected to require surgery. They're choosing to rehab it. What does that look like timeline wise, effectiveness wise?
Okay. See, when we don't, the video there was pretty good,
right? Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was in the open, and you could see it was his left knee and what have you. I think what I was saying, I should have said I should have gone stronger and said we don't think this is season ending because we got a good view on the video, but we don't see anything. So I was like, I don't see a lot here, and there isn't a lot to see there. I think there's a little bit of a bone bruise, where there probably is. There doesn't seem to be anything major structural. Is it really patella tendon? Look, Pete's great. Look, he's got the Seahawks playing well. He's not the greatest at injury reporting. He gets terms wrong and whatever.
He's always positive. Yeah.
He's always positive. Look, first of all, let me just put this out here. It's a great thing that DK Metcalf's season's not over, but he's not playing this Sunday. Now stop talking about Wednesday. What's his practice? He wants to try and practice this, that, the other. He was carted off. I think it was more of a patella subluxation, the way the video looks, than it was true patella tendon. And that actually would be better news, because you're just letting swelling and the associated bone bruise get better and do some rehab. If it really was some sort of partial injury to the patella tendon, he's still out 6-8 weeks or more. There needs to be quite a bit for healing,
which pushes it up against the end of the season. So that kind of suggests that hopefully it's just the subluxation there.
Yeah.
And that's an issue for the Seahawks. Remember, Lockett's just coming back from his hamstring, hasn't had 2 good games in a row, and then now Metcalf.
Speaking of players, who are active but not fully effective, that's been an easy prop last 2 weeks for us to hit the Lockett under on receiving yards. One of the weirder ones from yesterday, Doc, is the Daniel Bellinger Giants tight end injury. The injured, I think, fractured eye socket. Brian Dable confirmed this morning, and fractured eye socket and septum from looked like an eye poke. I mean, it was kind of an open hand, semi-punch.
I'm amazed. I'm going to give him the Beast of the Week for enduring that.
San Diego Stater.
Okay. There you go.
Yep.
I mean, there you go. You can't get a fist through the face mask opening.
No.
So, I mean, it was a hand in the right way. I mean, the Beast might be whosever fingers they were. How do you this is like old school martial arts with the finger, and you break the board or something, right? I mean, I'm not trying to make fun, but he kind of had an open hand. Like, how do you it doesn't fit through the opening of the face mask.
Kenny Pickett hands, right? So through there.
Yeah. I mean, if you put a hand in front of you and just went boom, I'm going to try and put.
Yeah,
I don't think you could.
You're not making it.
If you aimed, I don't think you. So there had to be a little bit of freak where his hand,
little angle, something.
He might have the toughest fingers in the world, so maybe the Beast of the Week or his fingers or something. But that's a bad injury, a bad looking injury.
Surgery an option for that?
If it's displaced, yes.
Okay.
And we've seen it in basketball.
Was that the Embiid? Embiid kind of had the similar thing, fractured orbital.
Similar. Look, it's possible. He probably will go on injured reserve, because we don't see it a lot.
So 4 games he'll miss. Okay.
And because you want to be safe, but you can protect that. With he'll come back with a.
I was gonna say, what are the odds he comes back with a visor?
100%. I mean, unless he says I just can't see through a visor.
Fool me once,
I mean, he's not gonna risk that. But you're not supposed to be able to get your hand in there, so I'll make him the Beast of the Week, and you guys show the video. That'd be tough, and with the runner-up being the other guy's, fingers, martial arts fingers.
He's got the 3rd most catches on the team, so their leading catcher only has 191 yards, and that's crazy. So
does that? Let me ask you this question: does it speak highly of the Aztecs or lowly of the Giants receiving core?
I would say that last one.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Or you could answer a little bit of both.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
JC Jackson, we'll go over quick, but we did see that one on video. And
patella, not so much the tendon, but patella dislocation, which is a ligament.
It's been a wash season for him, huh?
It's a big deal for the Chargers. A lot of money sunk up on him.
Well, Mike Williams.
Yep.
High ankle.
Hopefully the bye week will be enough, but
I don't think it will. I mean,
Joey's still out, and that's
I was
huge
trying to speak that in existence for my fantasy team. So
the hope is that he can avoid IR, because IR 4 weeks. It's really 5 for them.
Yeah,
because
bye week. Yeah,
the bye week doesn't count in the 4. It's 4 games missed. So hopefully he can come back before 5 weeks. So that's the timeline, whether for IR for him or not.
Right.
They just got Keenan back. Decoy.
2 catches, 11 yards. Yeah.
So a week generally better, but that's 2 injured. They're number 1 and 2. Boom, down.
Keenan will be okay after the bye.
Okay.
I mean, he'll be okay after the bye.
Yeah.
But JC Jackson, I mean, even if he can avoid surgery, this is close to season for him. I mean, not because we saw the air cast or whatever, but for a cornerback, I mean, I obviously it's the same side as his ostrigonum ankle, but they're not directly related. Turning, looking back, and for all the people saying it was turf. Half the games are on turf. I mean, this injury has happened not on turf. I believe Patrick Mahomes dislocated his kneecap. What was it, 2 years ago on a quarterback sneak? 3 years ago?
Mhm.
Wow, time flies.
That was our first. Yeah.
And that was in Arrowhead, right?
Mhm.
And that's grass. So, I mean, it does happen. And so he dislocated, and this is a patella dislocation. Big deal for him.
Just circling back to the Giants, Evan Neal, the rookie left tackle, MCL sprain. We saw on video that's been followed up by the reporting. So
grade 2, I believe.
grade 2. So 2-3 week deal. Can he avoid IR?
Close. Depends, is it a high grade 2, a low grade 2? Look,
Right.
He's not a skill position running around freely. Maybe he can return in a couple weeks with a brace, but it wouldn't shock me if he had hit IR. That's about the time frame, about 4 weeks.
They're 6-1, which they had time to maybe hold them out a little bit. I just think it's crazy because they're the one team that has offensive line issues.
I don't really know how they're still doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think that you can do that.
Yeah.
We're 6-1 and we can
Hold him
afford
out,
to.
yeah.
I mean, that's not how coaches.
No,
think.
he actually doesn't even have a good backup, so no, they can't.
They got other offensive line problems too.
Yes, left guard went out. Yeah.
Feliciano, the groin. Yeah.
I got to say right now, Dable's doing it with mirrors. I mean,
That's what, yes.
and Saquon and
Yep,
Daniel Jones.
absolutely.
Daniel, it's seeing the center's been out for the whole season. So that's when we usually get to like 3 to 4 offensive line issues on one line, we start to see some problems.
Right. So let's just throw in this thing on Saquon so that we don't appear to be like trying to hex players and under. Saquon, we said, love him. 905 yards in the season.
I hear you. I'm getting it. Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is. We loved him at the beginning of the season. Sick picks, futures.
So he's the second leading rusher in the league with 726.
So I hope we don't jinx him, knock on wood.
Yeah.
905, and he's at his season prop, right?
900.5. Yep.
900.5.
Yeah,
I thought it was 905.
No, we got good numbers. Yes.
900.5. Okay. So he might hit it next game. I mean, he's averaging over 100 yards a game.
Yeah.
Through week 7, he's got 700 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we expected out of him this year.
You know what, I just looking at his list too. One person I see on here, just what we were high on, is Derrick Henry. Remember coming off the foot, everybody's like, "Oh, age, this." He's the 4th leading rusher. He's still, he's
still running him a bunch.
Still a little bit behind. But, I mean, he's still just as good.
He's good. Yeah. Absolutely.
David Njoku's the other one we have info on the website. High ankle sprain. Count him out for next Monday against the Bengals.
They
even
said
with
week
the extra
to week
day
for him.
Day of
That's
rest.
what Stefanski said. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think he's an IR candidate. I don't think he's that bad.
Right.
He's really been doing really good this year. He's had like at least six catches a game. He's one of the top tight ends, so that'll be a big loss for them.
Well, we had the Beast Week. I want to get your take on one last thing, Doc. Did you see the clip of the ref asking Mike Evans for an autograph in the tunnel after the game?
Oh, those guys are going to get in trouble. They already said that. You can't do
so
that. That's illegal. Or illegal to
after the game is better than before.
Okay.
But they're going to see them again.
Yeah.
And that
was
is
a bad look. Yep.
A no-no. Now, if the ref were smarter, what you do is you send the locker room attendant.
Not your face.
Right.
And
you don't do it in the tunnel where there's cameras. Yeah.
The locker room. He thought he was out of view, probably.
Oh, he was.
He looked. There's a clip of him looking dead in the camera, realizing
they just entered the tunnel. Like it wasn't even. He just left the field. There was lots of cameras still.
After a bad loss too, and Mike Evans had that drop in the open field. That's.
No.
They need to get better autographs.
You think there's going to be more ramped up talk about the Kraft wedding and Brady, or no?
Because they lost. Yeah, they should. Yeah. He needed to win to get
Steelers and Panthers back-to-back weeks. So it'll be interesting Thursday night game against the Ravens.
Short week.
XFL MVP. You said it. So
yeah.
Yep.
All right. Are we forgetting anything else? We good?
We'll get to basketball eventually. And it's a Pro Football Doc podcast, but we're working in basketball coverage eventually.
So basketball, Zion Williamson, he got knocked down. He's hurt, not injured. He's fine. He's a big boy. The floor might have been hurt.
He's got some extra padding,
like the Nike shoes.
Less than he used to. I mean, he's got
lost the weight, a little
muscle back there. And then
we can talk about baseball.
Our poor Padres.
Yeah.
Oh, they did very well. But here's the interesting thing: the Phillies were a 6th seed. And they were also pretty healthy.
Correct.
And this is is this the first time a 6 seed has made the
The
World
only
Series?
6 seed to make the World Series because
Yeah.
it's the first time there's been a 6 seed.
Now, the Padres were pretty healthy too.
They were
but-
one of the top healthy
but
teams,
not
yeah.
quite as healthy as the Phillies. Let's see, healthy Phillies against, I mean, Astros are not unhealthy, but they're a number 1 seed. So
Yeah,
a 1 versus a 6, that doesn't happen that often.
not often. I remember I don't know you're baseball. Remember the Red Sox played the Rockies when they first won. I believe the Rockies had to win out to go to the wild card to win. That's the last time I can remember something like that. But yeah, go Phillies, like you said. I know you said poor Padres, but
Like you said. Putting words in his mouth.
yes.
And
yeah.
just so you know, I think you owe me money, Taylor.
Yeah, for what?
Taylor, before the thing, I have it on text message. You want me to
that's-
show the
the-
receipts?
oh,
Want to show the receipts?
Phillies in 3. I
Well,
remember.
wanna
Yeah.
show the receipts? He was bantering, and he, to a bunch of us that are San Diego based, he said, I guarantee you Phillies in 3. And we're like, I said, I'll take it. I said, I'll give you 25 to 1 odds.
They did win 2 of the first 3.
And
Yeah.
pay up. You said Phillies in 3.
I know. It was a joke.
He's
but
making his own series.
Yeah, it was my head.
I mean, I will admit before I replied, I was like, wait a minute, it's a 7-game series. I did
Yeah.
check
No,
to make sure.
No, and then you
before I
tried to get
replied.
me on a little weird wager, and I was like, like you said, I usually am like 100%. We're betting, but I had read it 3 times, maybe 4, and I figured it out. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Pro Football Doc, SIC Score podcast. Looking forward to week 8. Can there be a bigger surprise than Brady and Rodgers losing to 2 XFL quarterbacks? We'll see what the surprise is
Mhm.
this week, and hopefully it's not an injury surprise. Thanks for joining us, and go to Sports Injury Central for all the updated information. And check out those field views and those scores for fantasy, like I said. And special shout out to Jim Rome. Hopefully we're having fun on his podcast there. And we did well, though, right? I mean, our big calls were KC, Jets, and Cleveland.
Yep.
And they
Mhm.
all
Did good.
won or covered, and all injury based. And hopefully we're having some fun with that too. Thanks for watching and listening.